2019 is upon us, and what better way than to talk about how to grind your helicopters? I mean, it's been a while since helicopters have been implemented into War Thunder, but grinding them has always been a challenge. What do? Do you take them into ground RB and attempt to muster up 8K a game? Or do you take them into the helicopter-only mode that we used to have, where you fly around and die with one life? No, no, no. Gaijin has made helicopter EC a thing, and to be honest, it's a pretty fun game mode. Some people would say it's boring, but in terms of spending 40 minutes to an hour to get about 45 to 50,000 RP towards your helicopters, that means most helicopters in this game could be grinded out in about 5 to 10 games. And that's fantastic news. Now, of course, this is 5 to 10 hours of gameplay if you actually do 5 to 10 games of EC. But I think that's a small price to pay to get a top-tier helicopter, especially grinding out modifications and other things for your crew, and just having fun in general, getting used to how these helicopters handle and play. So this is the best way to grind helicopters in War Thunder. There is no clickbait here. I am not lying to you guys. It is 100% the best method for grinding helicopters. Now, this game that you're seeing took about 45 minutes. We absolutely demolished the other team. And I'm using the bow, the premium bow, because it's premium. It'll help me grind towards the hind, which is the closest hind I'm actually able to get. Is in the German tree right now because I use these bows so much. So I figured this is the tree that I will grind out using this. Now, helicopters that work in this game mode, there's a couple. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But basically, the grand scheme of things, helicopter EC is the same way plane EC works. You spawn at a multitude of different airfields. You can take off. You can fight ground forces. You can fight enemy helicopters or enemy vehicles. And the battle progresses. So the battle shifts back and forth. There are air cap points, and then a ground battle pops in, and you can go kill the ground targets for that. So I'm going to explain a little bit how that works thanks to Pred. He explained it to me. Basically, an air battle will pop up, capture A, right? And this will pop up for everybody. The team that captures this will then spawn a ground battle, an attack for the team that wins. Now, the ground force battle will pop about a minute and a half after the air point has been captured. Now, you do get points for an air cap. It counts as about 2 helicopter kills. So killing 2 enemy helicopters is the equivalent of the RP gained and the lions gained from capping one of these air points. They help progress the match indefinitely, right? So that's one way. Now, the ground force battle is fantastic for grinding. You kill all of these tanks, pillboxes, howitzers, AA guns that spawn in for this ground battle, and you can gain a lot of RP that way. And obviously, you can kill enemy helicopters. Now, the method I was using is ATGMing enemy helicopters and enemy tanks because the bow doesn't get any offensive armament other than ATGMs. Now, vehicles such as the Hinds and the AH-1Z are fantastic for this ground event for a multitude of reasons. I shouldn't have to explain it to you. The level of ordnance that these things carry is fantastic. Pred used the Hind in this match, and he got 15 air-to-air kills with the R60Ms and various ATGMs and guns. And he also got 35 ground kills because of the ordnance that the Mi-2V or Mi-24V gets to carry. So that's my suggestion to you guys, is find a helicopter that has a lot of ordnance. Now, if you don't have a lot of ordnance and you're stuck grinding helicopters like I am, the best way to do this is go for ground forces. I would say hover over the air battles, make sure you know where the air battle is and where it's going, and then plan your attack around that. So if there's an air point up and you can't necessarily get to that air point, just know that if your team caps, it's going to be in the opposite grid square of where the battle was, up or down. So it'll either be on the enemy side of the line, on the front line, or your side of the front line, depending on if your team captures or if the enemy team captures. Now, when you go there and hover, the ground battle will pop up. Launch a couple ATGMs, kill as many ground targets as you can, and instead of going back and landing, because you're going to lose your position, just J out of your helicopter and spawn in a new one. This will make it quicker for you to get back into the battle and have a full load of things. Now, you have to remember this is RB, kind of, but it is also arcade. It's more on the arcade side. Oh, I would say it's more on the RB side with how these helicopters fly, but there is no rip speed. You can't kill enemy or friendlies with lock-ons or anything like that. And enemy helicopters do pop up if they get within like a kilometer to you. They will actually show like what player it is and what kind of helicopter it is. But most of the engagements, you don't actually know who you're shooting at. You don't know who you're going to hit or anything like that. Now, you can also kill air bases, the enemy helicopter bases, and the enemy bases themselves. Now, I would stray away from this. You could win the game entirely by killing the enemy bases, but if the other team is spawn camping you while you're trying to get behind their lines and kill their bases, it's not the best thing to do. The best method that we've found, and that Pred has told me, is what I just let you guys know, is capping the air point and then going for the ground battle and killing the ground battle, and just jaying out and redoing it. And within 40 to 50 minutes, you will have a nice chunk of RP towards your next helicopters. I suggest running premium and as many boosters as you can. You have to note, Pred also told me this, which I didn't know, is the boosters only last 30 minutes. So it's only the first 30 minutes of the battle you'll actually have the booster enabled. The remainder 30 minutes, you won't get the add-on RP for that. So just keep that in mind when you're popping a booster for this. You might want to use your 500% booster for a ground force battle with a tank instead of using it in this, because you might not be able to do the full potential. But if you have a helicopter that's top tier and you're getting close to grinding it out, this game mode is really fun. Now, there is an issue. It's not an issue. I don't see it as an issue, but some people in the community will say this is the issue with this, and I know there will be comments. I can already see them. Certain helicopters get air-to-air missiles, and they get countermeasures to those air-to-air missiles, and certain helicopters don't, kind of like the bow you see me flying here. Now, I can tell you wholeheartedly, I killed 26 or 28 ground targets this game and 4 helicopters. I didn't get killed by an enemy helicopter once. I stayed out of sight, stayed out of mind, and I jayed out and I killed myself, essentially, because it's the fastest way to get more missiles. Now, if you're rushing in like an AH-1G, you have to understand that there will be enemy helicopters on the other team that have air-to-air missiles, and they will kill you. The R60Ms are fantastic. The AH-1Z gets the AIM-9s, which lock from super far away, and these missiles track pretty hard. They're almost a guaranteed kill if you're within a certain distance. Now, if you are using an AH-1Z or a Hind with R60Ms, wait till you get into a range like 1.5 to 1 kilometers out from an enemy tank or enemy helicopter, excuse me, and then launch your missiles. Because if you launch them from too far away, flares, IRCMs, the exhaust, all those modifications that are countermeasures against air-to-air locks come into play at farther distance, and it's easier to avoid enemy missiles coming in the same way planes is. So, or the same way planes have to defeat the missiles. So, just keep that in mind when you are trying to use air-to-air missiles. That's only for the people who have them. If you don't have them, again, just listen to what I said earlier on in the video. Rush the enemy bases, rush the cap points, take care of the cap points, hover around and wait for that ground battle to pop and be there first, and then take out as many ground forces as you can. Rockets are great for this. They only spawn T-34s on these maps, so you can spawn Hydras or whatever rockets you want. An AH-1G with Hydras and ground and nade launchers would be fantastic for taking out all the ground forces. You just have to be careful when there's enemy helicopters up. Now, another thing that I noticed it is very hard to get into a game with your friends just by the system. There's only like 5 to 6 servers up at any given time of this EC, spread across the RU, EU, and US servers. So if you're trying to get in with your friends, be sure to check the room list. It's a pain in the ass. It took us about 15 to 20 minutes to get into a battle altogether because we had 3 G Squad guys trying to play this at the same time. And even at that, only Pred and I got in first, and we had to wait for Black Heat to get in later because he had to watch the room list and wait for people to leave and balance the teams out. But once you get the hang of that, or if you're a solo player, you don't even have to worry about that. I think this game mode is fantastic. It's going to be fun to grow. I can't wait to see it on new maps. I love EC altogether, but this is just really fun. And I think it's a great way to earn RP. I couldn't imagine if this was like a sim EC, how much RP you would gain from the helicopters and stuff, and maybe even adding planes and helicopters to this type of thing might be cool, depending on how much the planes cost to spawn. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you've played this game mode, let me know what's your biggest RP gain. Mine from this game, I'll show you the stats. I believe it was like 35,000 for a 45-minute game with about 100,000 SL premium, and I popped a like 150 booster in the beginning, or a 10% booster. I don't know exactly what the RP booster was, but I popped something before the game, and that's what I got for a nice 45-minute game. Pretty relaxed, only died to Jang out, and I killed a lot of vehicles. It's fun to play with friends. I think this could be a little boring if you're not playing with friends, but if you find a bud to just go in and wreck shit with, it's anything's gonna be fun at that point. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below your best game in this. Pred's best game, I'll throw a picture up right now, was about 100,000 RP for one match. It was probably like an hour and a half, but I mean 100,000 RP, that's a third of any chopper in the game pretty much, and that's a lot of RP, and you can't argue with that. You could spend hours and hours and days and days and days trying to spawn in one of these in a ground force battle, but you're not going to get the same rewards as you would by just playing this game mode straight up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if it helped you out. Let me know if you're starting to play this too. And I got a lot of fun content coming for you guys in 2019. I'm super excited. Can't wait. P.O. Box in route. We're just waiting on, I just got to go drop this paper off actually. Maybe I should go do that right now. Maybe I'll go do that right now. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace.
I told you once it hits that 1,000 mark, something happens. I don't know what.
That is weird. Oh, 15,000. Holy shit.
I made 45,000.
Nice.
So.